Yeah, Homer led the league in tackles with 85. The deep ball for Darius Prince, and Philadelphia's on the board first.
On the draw, this is Bryson Allen. And Allen weaving his way all the way down to the 22. 10-yard line, 5. Mayfield, dancing all around. Throw it as far as he can throw it. Jump ball coming. Crazy stuff. Not this time.
And you want to be a wide receiver, you're going to have to take a little bit of a hit like that as Brown got him in that shoulder, but watch. Those are teeth.
Do we have a dentist on staff here?
Today I'm joined by one of the most respected receivers in the industry, wide receiver for the San Antonio Gunslingers, Mr. DJ Meyer. DJ, how we doing today, big dog?
Doing great, man. Blessed. Thanks for having me, man. It's really good to see you.
No problem. Great to finally get you on. But, diving right in here, you signed with the San Antonio Gunslingers. I hear you have a great relationship with Coach Manas. It's kind of been progressing throughout the offseason. How has your relationship been with him, and how often are you communicating with him through this offseason?
Oh, we communicate multiple times a week. I mean, when I first signed, we were communicating probably every single day. He does give me a lot of respect, and it's a mutual respect type of relationship. And so he likes to let me know what's going on, behind the scenes and a lot of the team development stuff and how we're handling the team. He's appointed me as a captain this year going in, and I take that very seriously to be a leader for these guys. I'm a veteran in the game now. And I remember when I was in my rookie year in the AFL in 2019, all those guys that I would lean on who were veterans then. And so it's just, it's an honor for me to be named a captain under Manas and just get ready to lead these guys in the right direction. I mean, I'm excited.
Without a doubt, that's a huge honor. And, one of the things I hear is you also got an inside look at the new facility that San Antonio has invested in. How important was that for you that they invested and they really care about their players?
That was huge, man, because as you well know, in arena football, you don't really have things like that. I mean, there's some teams around the country that are practicing at high schools, out in baseball fields, but we still are performing as professionals on really high levels, and we're still delivering a great product. So that was a huge incentive, going to San Antonio and seeing all that the owners are investing and how much they're putting into this and how much they love this guys and care about the product in San Antonio to give us like an NFL-like feel. I mean, they're giving us everything that we need to produce and to be successful in this facility. I've had a chance to I was down there about a month and a half ago, and it wasn't done yet, but I was able to see the vision and talk with Manas about it and, where everything's going to be. And I was just on the phone with him a week ago, and he was telling me, some of the updates of, how it's looking and how it's coming along. And it's going to be ready for by the time we get to camp in 3.5 weeks. And, man, I'm just telling you, these guys are just so lucky. I feel lucky, but it's some of the younger guys that are coming in. I'm like, man, you guys are just so lucky you get to come in and just immediately have this. And that's why it's going to be a privilege, man. We're going to go into camp with 40 guys, but, we got to get down to 25. And only 21 are going to dress on game day. So we're going to make sure that those are the best 25, the best that deserve to be gunslingers, deserve the harvest, and that all the owners are putting into all of this, man, because it's going to be amazing. I mean, the facility, we're going to have everything that we need in one centralized location as far as practice facilities, locker rooms, recovery, meeting rooms, coaches' offices, as all the way to front office personnel. I mean, it's all in one centralized location. And when you play arena, you don't really get that. You got the coaches' offices over here, if they have them. You got your practice facility over here, if you have one. And, so that's huge. So, I mean, they're giving us everything we need to be successful. Now we got to deliver.
No doubt. And I'm really excited for you that you get to experience that. You were at Midwestern, and they have a great facility down there. How would you compare the vision of this facility to your experience there?
Absolutely. So Midwestern, that was a big point. So I went to JUCO first. And when I was getting recruited out of junior college, I'm an East Coast kid. I'm from Virginia, not originally from Texas. Midwestern was my only offer off the East Coast. And and when I had broke it down to, however many offers I had, and I had break it down to 3 schools, 2 of those schools were East Coast, and then the other one was Midwestern. Midwestern was the last visit that I took. And when I took that visit and I went out there, and this is a Division II school, but when I saw the facilities, I mean, it screams Division I. I mean, just the locker room is an NFL style locker room, multi-million-dollar project, and 2 turf fields and indoor, everything was just so beautiful. The weight room it was all there, and it just enticed me, because it's like, if I want to someday be an NFL player or play at the highest level, I need to be in these type of environments. So that was huge for me as far as committing to Midwestern, and on top of a whole bunch of other things that made me go there. But yeah, it reminds me a lot of that with San Antonio too, because obviously, being in the USFL last year and re-entering the arena now, and I've played for 3 arena teams before this. It's going to be my 4th arena team. None of the 4 arena teams, not even, when I was in the AFL, can compare to what San Antonio is setting up for us to help us succeed this year. And that's something I'm really excited about.
You mentioned junior college. You went to Lackawanna. Your brother's also a JUCO product. How much of an advocate are you for guys to go JUCO out of high school?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm an advocate to go to JUCO, because everybody goes to JUCO for different reasons, whether it's, to get academically qualified, or if you just need a little bit more time to get recruited. In my sense, I needed a little bit more time to get academically qualified. I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't even a bad student. My priorities in high school just weren't on academics at the time. And I didn't really learn to be a better student until I got to college, and junior college did that for me. And it turned me into that better student, and allowed me, and, they gave me everything I needed to learn how to be a student. And then, I did really well, graduated with honors out of Lackawanna, got my AA, went to Midwestern, graduated with my bachelor's in psychology. And now I'm in grad school going for my master's. So, it started with me being unacademically qualified, and now here I am pursuing my 3rd degree. So, that's one thing I would advocate for JUCO. If you need more time, that is the opportunity that it will provide for you. You need some time to learn how to be a better student. You need the extra study halls. You need the less distractions around you. JUCO can provide that for you. Or on the other end, if you were a highly academic guy and you just didn't get recruited the way that you want, you can go to JUCO for a year, put yourself around some top talent, and the next thing you know, you got that offer that you want. I mean, you get bounce back guys coming in there all the time. My sophomore year at Lackawanna, we had a bounce back quarterback out of Virginia Tech, and he was a 4.0 guy at Virginia Tech, and he chose to come to Lackawanna, and he helped us win our conference that year, and then he went to UMass. And then, and so it just depends. I'd say I'm a JUCO advocate, but, I wouldn't say I'm advocating for people to go to JUCO, because if you can avoid it, avoid it. If you can just be academically qualified or get recruited the way you wanted to, then take your opportunities. But it is a great second opportunity, opposed to, I'm not saying not to go anywhere else, but against like a post-grad or going D3 and trying to transfer up or something. And that's no knock to any post-grad programs or any Division III schools. I just think JUCO is a more straight shot for you to get your priorities aligned.
Do you feel like junior college guys are kind of overlooked with the NIL and transfer portal nowadays?
I mean, it's kind of crazy, man. I mean, it's changed everything. I couldn't even imagine NIL being a thing when I was coming up through college, and it's completely changed the landscape of football. And I don't know how it's affecting JUCO kids. I mean, you can build your own personal brand and try to monetize off that, I guess, but it just seems like it's more catered to the guys that are playing, Power 5 football, major Division I football. And not that people can't, monetize. It's just, I don't really understand it all that much. Like I said, I didn't come up in it. So like, I'm just seeing it all happen, and it's kind of crazy. So I don't think it really matters that much for junior college guys. I think your priorities, if you're in JUCO, shouldn't be so much on NIL more than it is on, getting whatever you need aligned for the reason why you're there, right? Whether it's your academics or to get re-recruited.
You at your stint coaching college football, you were a wide receivers coach. What was your biggest learning lesson and the biggest struggle being a younger coach? Yeah,
absolutely. So the first struggle, I would say, well, for me, it was a little bit different, because when I was coming out of college, I mean, I was a legit NFL prospect. I was having my chance to go to the league. I had some private workouts. I was doing things like that, but I took an injury leading up to my pro day. So I had to take some time off, and I couldn't go to a training camp. So I had to take that entire fall off after I was getting recruited and doing private workouts. And then I just had an injury at the wrong time, which was, demoralizing for me. But, I just had to step back, and instead of removing myself from the game, I had a connect that said, hey, DJ, like, I know you're going to go back pro. You're going to get your opportunity to go pro. He's like, but if you want to come coach receivers with me, just give me the fall. Just give me the fall. He's like, you can learn something. You can see the game from a different angle kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. So that's how that happened. I was 24 years old and I got hired as the head receiver coach. I wasn't a GA. I was a full-time on-staff coach at 24 years old, just based off, I guess, whatever that coach had saw in me at the time. And it was hard for me. The struggle for me is that when you're coaching college, that's 16-hour days. That's 14, 16, 18-hour days, Monday through Sunday. Like that is insane, man. It really is a different part of the game. So it took a lot away from, it was more of like what I had to give to the program and give to the kids, because it felt like it was taking less away from like the time that I could use for myself to train myself or to keep my pro dream alive. And I loved feeding into the kids. I absolutely loved coaching. But it was hard for me, to say, if a kid one day was loafing out there or taking it for granted or having a bad attitude, it used to just drive me absolutely insane. Because I'm like, man, I'm here sacrificing my time. I'm here for you. And I could be at home just training, getting ready to go back, but instead I'm here. And you don't understand. You don't have the time that you think that you have. Things can change so fast. So you really got to attack every single day. You got to attack all these opportunities. So I had great relationships. I had 13 receivers of my own from freshmen to seniors. And my oldest kid, I was only 3 years older than him. But I had a lot of respect from those boys, and I still keep in touch with them to this day. I've seen most of them graduate. And, so there was a lot of great things that came from it. But that was probably the hardest struggle, was just trying to keep a group of kids just focused and seeing the bigger picture. Because, when you get redshirted as a freshman, when you just came from being the star of your high school, a lot of kids handle that, some handle it okay, some don't handle it okay. And you have to try to handle all these different personalities. And that was a little bit of a struggle for me. But ultimately, I learned through it. And I'd say the hardest challenge of being a young coach on staff was the school that I was at. We had a divided staff. So we had 4 younger coaches, 4 older coaches. And when I'm saying older coaches, I'm talking about coaches that have coached for 20 years, So it's just, there's a lot of different personalities. And I always say it's so important to be on a staff where everybody, 1, respects each other, and 2, everybody's understands the same mission and is on the same page, because there can be a little bit of conflicting, ideologies and things like that. And sometimes, the older coaches on staff won't respect the younger voices. So there is some times there that I would try to voice my opinion or say something I thought that would work, or try to advocate for one of the guys in my room. And then, I'd get shut down by the head coach or the offensive coordinator or something. And then I'm just like, well, why'd you guys hire me? What am I really doing here? If you am I just here to just, break down film and do all the grunt work? Or that was the hardest thing for me, because I always wanted to do more. I'm not saying I'm the smartest coach in the room or anything like that, but I did believe that I could bring more to the table. And when you're a young coach in your first year or two, you don't really have a voice. You kind of just got to do what they tell you to do. And that's just the nature of it. And that was just a little hard for me, just because how I was dealing with it was there just wasn't a lot of reciprocated respect. It was more like talking down to me. And I just don't respond. I just don't really respond well to being talked down to like that. I give respect where it's due, and I always give respect first, unless you show me that there's no respect to give. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason otherwise. So that was what I would say my college experience was. I had a great time. I finished the entire year that first 5 months, and then I got the invite to Philly Soul Camp.
You're a really big receiver. When I watch you on film, you remind me a lot of former Missouri receiver Doyle Green Beckham. You're huge. Who are some guys you kind of model your game after?
Yeah, absolutely. So one guy that I really like is Mike Evans. He's one of those guys I've watched for many years, as well as growing up. And I don't know, you might be too young for this guy, but my favorite receiver growing up was Santana Moss of the Washington Redskins. That's my absolutely favorite receiver. When I was young, that was my go-to guy that I would always watch and try to model myself after. But as far as NFL receiver right now, I'd definitely say Mike Evans, Brandon Ayuk, some guys like that.
I want to talk to you about being a loaded receiving room. You were in a loaded receiving room in Carolina. You were Ings, Trey Long, you were Adam Smith, so many great receivers. And this year in San Antonio, you have yourself, Kali, Akil, Fabian, Vinny, the list goes on and on. How do you maintain that, I want to do well myself, but also everyone has to eat mentality?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got a team first mentality, period. I mean, I've never, ever been a selfish player, ever. Like, what you have to understand when you're in situations like that is that everybody wants to get theirs, but everybody has to eat. All right. So if you eat, if the team's eating, everybody eats. And that's the bottom line. Like you said, I've always been in loaded receiver rooms. And if you think I'm capping, you can ask any receiver that I've played with any single year and ask them if they said that I've had an issue or caused an issue or been selfish or anything. I've always vouched for my guys, always vouched to put my guys in situations. I'm the type of guy, if my number's called, I'm gonna make a play. Like, that's the bottom line. But I'm never gonna be in the huddle or in the team meeting room like, I need the ball. Like, I've never been that type of guy. So I love being in loaded receiver rooms. The thing is during camp, you have to find out how to gel fast. You have to find out how to gel fast. How can we get all these personalities, all these superstar players to work together? And that's just understanding that we're all on one common mission and there's one goal. The team goal is always bigger than the individual goal. And if you reach for the team goal, then you will accomplish your individual goals along the way.
When you made that transition to the USFL, you experienced politics. Your brother experienced politics. Your friend Sam Castanova experienced that too. What was your overall USFL experience like, and what were the red flags from the onset?
Yeah, so the USFL, it was a great product, man. Everybody up there was elite talent. Okay, from defender, from the offensive personnel to the defensive personnel. I mean, 98% of the league, all these guys were on NFL roster at some point in time. Camp was extremely competitive. I mean, it made me, I had to pull out, all my tricks. I had to really, really dig deep into who I was, and I had to learn fast because I've never been in the NFL. I mean, I've had my shot, but I've never been in an NFL camp. So all these receivers, every single receiver on that roster, except for me, had been in the NFL at some point in time. So there was some sort of that they've seen different things that I've seen. And a lot of those receivers were on that team the year prior as well. So they already knew the system. So I was already working against the grain, and I just had to just go out there and just show that I was just an athlete, that I could hang with these guys. And I was able to do that and make the team. But camp was not easy. I mean, there was definitely sometimes I was like, I'm not sure, I'm not sure if I'm gonna make it through this because there was just mistakes being made along the way. And there's very little room for error in those leagues, especially when you're dealing with guys that are NFL personnel and things like that. So obviously granted, I made enough plays and I was able to turn some heads and I ended up making that team. And it was tough after that because, I ended up making it, but then I was on practice squad. We ended up signing 7 receivers. We were dressing 5 at the time. 4 of them were returners from last year's previous team. And, they're all dogs. And pretty much it's like, if they're doing their job, you're not going to move guys around. I mean, if they're getting the job done, they're getting the job done. I'm the new cat on the block. Yeah, I showed the talent. I'm good enough to be here, but those guys have been here and they're doing their job. So I'm on practice squad. I'm doing everything they're asking me to do. And, and I'm just working hard, just waiting for my opportunity on practice squad. We're dressing 5. 2 guys ended up going on IR. So then we're down to 5. And I'm finally thinking, okay, I'm going to get my opportunity here. Then we change our offense and we end up going 13 personnel where we're dressing 3 tight ends a game and we're only dressing 4 receivers. So I'm like, so it was just, for me, it was a back end game the entire time. It really was just, it was a numbers thing. And it was really unfortunate because I was out there giving it everything I got to the team every day, every single day to the team. And just whatever they needed out of me, special teams, scout team, getting thrown in, on offensive reps, first team, second team reps to make sure that if I did get thrown out there, I'm ready to go, like all those things. But it just, that opportunity never came for me. Next thing you know, I'm on practice squad for 10 weeks, 13 weeks. And, it was tough. It really is tough. It tested my mental. It wasn't never, oh, I'm better than these guys, I should be out there. No, I'm not that type of person. But I did believe that I had enough in the tank to contribute to the team, to help in some way, run down on kickoff, block on kickoff return, anything. That is who I am. If I wasn't that type of player, I wouldn't have played Ironman football with the Cobras. Like, I did everything for the Cobras. And as far as special teams, playing defense, playing offense, so that's just how I was. Like, so from my experience, that was just the hardest part of it. And it's a lot deeper. And, I don't want to speak too deeply on like everything that went down in the USFL as far as, like discussions with coaches and things like that. But just, you get lost in it. You get lost in the system. I'm a Division II guy. I was the only Division II guy in that receiver room. And I was on the back end as the number 7 receiver on the roster. And all those guys were producing. And none of them went down, thank God. They all did well, and my opportunity just never came. I really wish they would have gave me a chance to throw me out there and see what I could do. Because you just don't know. It's not fair to be like, well, we don't know, or DJ wasn't ready, or any of these things. Unless you throw me out there alive and give me a chance to show that I can succeed or fail, then you really don't know, what I was made of. But the bottom line was that, I made the team. I was there all year long. I was on a 2-year contract, and then the merger kind of, dissolved all of that. And so I don't regret any of it. I wish I had an opportunity to go back, but, show goes on, and I'm so grateful to be where I'm at now. And I just can't wait to re-enter the arena because I love arena football. It's a great product, and I'm just so excited to be a gunslinger. So ready to get back to just being me and having an opportunity to just be a leader and perform at a high level.
From your perspective, do you think there's a big talent gap between arena football and the USFL?
Actually, no, I actually don't. And I spoke about this on another interview as well. There's a lot of guys in the arena that can compete outside. It's a different game. Okay. Nobody's saying it's not a different game. It's absolutely a different game. But at the end of the day, it's still football, bro. You go out there, you compete. You're either a ball player or you're not a ball player. It's really that simple. Of course, there is some sort of gap. Like I said, 98% of these guys have been in the NFL. They've performed at the highest levels with the highest resources. But the one thing about arena is that the guys down there, they're competing, man. Like, they are competing. Like, they got nothing to lose. Whereas guys in the USFL or the NFL, they've already made a lot of money, or they already have all these things, and their motives may be different. Not that they're not competing up there, because they absolutely are. But you throw an arena guy in that mix that's never been there, somebody like me, like, we're balls to the wall. And that's how I was. Like, I was out there every day. I had nothing to lose, but I had a lot to lose, and I was just really, really just carrying all that arena experience on my back of, the things that I've been through in arena to prove. It's like just a constant. Every day was like I had to prove that I was good enough to be out there. Every single day I felt like my job was on the line, because it really was. Guys get cut every day, every week up there. So, and because I wasn't playing on game day and I was on practice squad, I had to go, like, all 13 weeks felt like camp to me. My job never felt safe. And it was an uneasy feeling, but it pushes you to another level. And it brings different things out of you. And again, no regrets, but again, no clear distance. I was talking to somebody else about this. I really wish, the NFL would adopt a model like the MLB, the NHL, and the NBA, and have these farm leagues and have teams attached to teams and give guys chances to come up and things like that, because there's just so many great football players, but there's so limited spots, you know what I mean? And the merger just made it even smaller. So,
DJ, you have a really good outlook on everything. You kind of want to dominate everything in life, whether it's a relationship, playing on the field, your job. How much of that is your mom instilling that mentality in you and your brothers at a young age?
Yeah. So I have 3 brothers. I'm in the middle. I'm the third. Me and my younger brother are the professional football players, and my mom and my brothers, my older brothers, had everything to do with that, man. We lived a football lifestyle from a very young age. We started playing football at 6 years old, 7 years old, tackle football. And it just, by the time we were 10, 11, we were playing on the top travel teams in Northern Virginia. And then it just continued to go. And, my mom is a huge part of that, because she's completely sacrificed to put us in the positions to be successful and making sure that we have everything that we need, and believing in us and pushing in us and not letting us quit and just feeding into us. And, my older brothers were huge in that as well. Because my mom is a single mom, my older brothers had to step up, and they were a huge part in raising me and my younger brother, Guy. And, I'm so appreciative of them, and, and I keep all of them close to my heart. And my mom, she's actually here in Texas with me right now, visiting me. And I actually, right before I came and saw you, I was just outside running some routes, and my mom was out there, and she had her camera. She was taking pictures, doing what she's done. She's done the same thing since I was 7 years old. So, she's still a huge part in my journey. I'm literally turning 30 this year, going into my 5th year as a professional football player. And my mom is still here supporting, still here traveling. And, she's made 98% of my games in my life, my brother's games. So she's the biggest part of all of this, and, deserves so much credit, as well as my brothers and my younger brother as well, too. Because we are the professional football players, we lean on each other. I always felt like I had to, be a leading example for my younger brother and try to save him from the mistakes that I've made along the way and things like that. But, he also had his own journey, and he had to learn his own lessons, and it's helped us develop our relationship a lot. And, I'm just so proud of him. So, great fan. I'm just so excited. I'm so grateful for my family support. Everybody says that, but it really is like a tight wolf pack in my household. So just so appreciative of my mom and my brothers.
You have a great support system, no doubt. And you talked about Guy. How much joy do you get in watching him develop over the years?
Tremendously. Tremendous joy. Like, I can't even explain to y'all. Like, this is my little brother, but I've watched him my entire life. Like, and and some people would say that both of us were late bloomers. We both went JUCO, we both went Division II, we both found our ways to the pros. And but I would say, with Guy, his opportunities came a little bit. He plays quarterback. Only one position can start. He literally started 1 year in high school. He started a year and a half in college. And what he's turned himself into today is absolutely crazy. Just the way that he processes, the way he prepares, all of those things. And I've watched it all happen. I mean, as we were younger, I used to get on him a lot because I would say, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, like all these kind of stuff. But now he's looking at me like, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, So it's like, it's we just push each other. But I'm extremely proud of him. Like, he deserves so much more than what he's got. He has really turned himself into an elite human, but an elite football player as well. And again, I can't say enough about my little brother, man. I mean, he's worked really hard to get to where he's at. He's a great quarterback. He belongs outside. That's the bottom line. So
I wanted to ask you, you've been around a lot of great quarterbacks, Bain, Castanova, but one of your former teammates, Malik Henry, got the call to play in the CFL. What's your relationship with him like?
Yeah, so Malik gets a bad rap, man. And I'm not going to say he gets a bad rap right now. When he came into Arena, he had a bad rap, all because of, what happened on Last Chance U. And I didn't know him either. And I don't judge books by their cover. I have to meet you first. And if it is what it is, it is what it is. But he came in and immediate respect for Malik, because he came in and when I was there, he had to back up Bain. Okay, he could have came in and he could have been a cancer. He could have been like, well, I'm better than Bain, I should be starting. He could have been saying any of that, but he didn't do none of that. He came in, he learned, he competed. He was just the complete, like, it was like the complete opposite of what everybody has said about him or what the media has painted him to be. And I gained a quick respect for Malik, and we worked really well together. And even as far as when we brought in, when Bain went down that year, and we had brought in Tommy Grady, and Malik had, he started the week before that versus Columbus and threw 5 touchdowns. And then next thing you know, he's getting benched for Tommy. And even the way how he handled that, like, he could have been like, screw this, like, I'm going back home to California. And yeah, he was upset, but he didn't let it affect the team. He didn't come out and cause a scene in the locker room or go off on the coaches or anything like that. He took it to the chin. And then when all that situation played out and he came back in, he helped us finish strong. And then I just give him so much credit for that, because then look what happened when he came back the next year when it was his turn. Throws for 60 touchdowns, MVP, gets his call up, and he deserved that. So I think the important lesson in some, like, viewing somebody like Malik Henry is you can't judge a book by its cover, and also you got to give people a chance to learn from mistakes and develop. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be like, oh, well, he was a cancer then. Doesn't mean he's going to be a cancer now. Like, you got to give him a chance to show that people can grow up and they can learn. And Malik's a perfect example of that, man. So just really proud of him. We have a good relationship. We don't talk all the time, but when we do, it's like, it's like brothers.
Without a doubt. And a big part of that relationship with Coach Fuller, you get to reunite with him in San Antonio this year. How much of an offensive genius is he really behind the scenes?
He is the best arena football coach I've ever played for. Period. That is my guy. All right. He is a mastermind. Okay. And he is all about football. And when he's not about football, he's just fishing or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how he is. He's very good at keeping the main thing. And I worked really well with him because I work well in structure and transparency. And he's that way. And that's why I feel like me and him work so well together, because a lot of the ways that he prepares or runs his meetings, I was operating really well in those situations with him, which developed trust between us. And I just felt like we got to a point in the season where he really trusted me, and we were leaning in certain situations where he's like, well, I need DJ here. We need to do this. And he was just calling plays, knowing that I'm going to give him everything I had. Like, I literally would run into a wall for that guy, and he knows that. And I don't think we ever had a disagreement. And again, I've been a coach myself. I'm also a certified sports performance coach and a gym manager, and I coach athletes all the time as well for the past 3.5, 4 years. So it's always kind of weird for me when I step back into the athlete role and I have to, like, yes, sir, my coaches and stuff like that, because I'm also a coach. I get yes, sir all the time. So it's kind of funny with Fuller like that because I hold him to such a high regard. And we got to a relationship. If I ever did do something wrong, he would just give me a look. Like, he's not going to scold me or nothing. He gives me that look of, DJ, you're better than that, or DJ, you know better, or, something like that. And it's always just like commanding respect, like, yes, sir, like immediately, So he's my favorite coach that I've ever played for. I played for a lot of great coaches, and I have respect for every single coach that I've played for, but Fuller is by far one of my favorite guys, man. He is absolutely an offensive mastermind, and I can't wait to see what he does in the IFL and how he uses me, Fabian, Callie, Nunu, all these guys, Vinny, and the rest. It's going to be a show for sure.
It's going to be really exciting. DJ, it's been great having you on the show today. My final question for you is, when you wake up every morning, what's your biggest motivating factor?
I say that every time when I woke up, my biggest motivating factor is to inspire and impact others. Like I said, I work in a gym. I'm there Monday through Saturday. I have kids ages 7 to 16, 17, 18 years old. And it's just giving back to the game because it's given so much to me. Teaching life through the game, teaching love through the game, and giving kids opportunities that I didn't have young, giving them that free game, and that's what keeps me going, man. It's just, that's what it is. Like, I don't wake up again for selfish gain. Like, how much money can I make today? It's not about that. For me, it's who can I inspire? Who can I impact every single day? So I'll say that, my faith, is huge to me as well. And my family. So, it's all about, it's about legacy for me too, as well. Just making all of this, just being able to hand this down to my kids someday, this knowledge, all these blessings, and putting on for my family's name.
Without a doubt, DJ, I really appreciate you coming on. I look forward to you winning IFL MVP in 2024.
I appreciate that, man. Really do. Look forward to talking to you again, Krish.
Yes, sir.
I'm a game changer.